Hey everyone, how we doing today? This is James Sweeney, aka SplitSuit. Welcome back to another video. And as part of the Ask SplitSuit a Question series, a bunch of people asked hand history questions, and today's question comes from John. And John just wants me to review this hand he played with pocket fours in a live game. So let's check it out. Okay, so in this 2-5 game, it folds around, hero opens fours. Opening a 5x is probably a little bit large here. You can probably get this away for 20 just as much as you can get it away for 25, so I might shave down to 20. Not a huge deal, but definitely keep it in mind. End up getting called by C2, and C2 is described as an older guy, and he seemed to fit the older guy stereotype with his play, so he didn't seem tricky at all. This is directly what John said. So with that said, we end up flopping middle set, which is always fun. He checks, here decides to bet. First, love the fact that we're betting. Second, I love the fact that we're betting nice and large, because when C2 does and will continue, it's definitely going to be pretty inelastic. If he has sixes plus, if he has any sort of decent pair or decent draw here, he's not going anywhere. You probably weren't going to make a ton more even by betting like 30 from like a king queen or something like that. So I love the fact that we're betting large, just really punish the times that he does continue. And I think you'll probably even get some continuance from things like ace X if he has ace jack, probably continue with 2 overcards and a gut shot. That wouldn't surprise me too much. So we end up getting called, again not shocking. Turn is an 8, check, and here decides to fire for 200. So at this point John says it was not a long session, but he seemed very sticky with his big draws and overpairs, thus the big turn bet to punish his inelasticity. The intention of the turn bet was to also commit both of us to the pot. So John, first and foremost, I really want to applaud you for paying a lot of attention to this guy and starting to develop these kind of reads, and also applaud you for doing something a little bit more creative, right? An overbet in the turn is not the most typical thing in the world, especially when it's not a shove, so I really like to see this kind of creative stuff. Now, is this the best place for it? That's the real point. So in this situation, obviously the 8 does improve a couple things. It improves pocket 8s, okay, whatever, and it improves 6-7. Now, if C2 has 6-7, being an older guy, it's probably only going to be 6-7 suited. If he had 6-7 of clubs, does he check raise the flop, or does he just check call? Really, those are my most important things. I think he's probably going to check raise with 6-7 of clubs on the turn. On the flop, just because it's so huge. So I think we're in a situation where he has like 3 combos of 6-7 suited that are not clubs and 3 combos of pocket 8s. It is what it is. So there's 6 combos of nuttish stuff. Now, the other question here, of course, is what's he going to do with his big draws and stuff and over pairs like 9s, 10s, jacks that he probably wasn't 3-bet with preflop because he's an older guy. So if you think there's a ton of that in there and you think he's going to continue against it for 200, then I really love the fact that we're making the larger size. It definitely punishes. It's definitely on the more creative side of the spectrum. A lot of players don't make this bet size, but I really like it in this spot based upon the information you gave. So we end up getting called by C2. The river is, I really can't think of a worse card, and we end up facing a jam from C2. So this is really John's question is his fold good or not good? So there's a couple major considerations here. First and foremost, based upon the player profile, I don't think we're going to be seeing very many bluffs from this guy at all, right? He doesn't seem tricky. He's an older guy. He also seems sticky on turns and stuff with big draws and overpairs and such. But that being said, a lot of players may say, well, maybe he would shove here with like 2 pair. Well, I don't think he has very many 2 pair. Simply because if he had something like ace deuce, ace 4, ace 5, ace 8, anything like that, is he really going to check call the turn with it? I don't think so. It just doesn't really seem likely. Yes, I think he's going to be more sticky with draws, but not necessarily with crappy pairs. So all that being said, I don't think we're looking at 2 pair a lot here. I don't think we're looking at very many bluffs either. And this is a death card, right? It fills up 3x, it fills up clubs, it fills up everything. I really think we're going to be looking at a strong hand here way too often. And even though we're getting a fairly good price, we don't need to be good that often. I don't think we're good enough of the time to give this exact player action here. So John, as played, I really like the fact that you found the fold button. It's definitely not a spot where I love folding. I really hate folding sets in pots where I start the effective stack with 100 big blinds or less, but by the same token, this seems like an exact perfect spot to find the fold button just against the player profile and the fact that there probably are far too few bluffs in that range in order for us to make a profitable call. So John, thanks for the great hand, and if you or anyone else has a poke-related hand or question, feel free to send it to me directly at splitsuit.com/send. You can leave any hand or comment in there, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. Just for the record, I have gotten a ton of hands already this year, but I'd still be happy to put yours on the list. Same as always, if you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. Otherwise, good luck out there, and happy grinding.